So we are going to be recording this. This will be available on the website. And then, like I said, I did launch a poll for you guys to go ahead and take that poll. This is our first year as a hybrid symposium, so we thought we would do this Q&A for you guys to just get you better acquainted and answer some questions that you might have. Our special events senior manager, Sarah Martin Fuller, she is going to be leading up this webinar, and she's going to be able to answer all the questions. So take it away, Sarah.
We'll at least try, but thank you there, Amy, for the introduction. It's nice to see so many familiar and new faces. It's always hard to believe how quickly the year passes from year to year, whether we're in person or virtual, and it's just amazing to me that we get to bring this option for being in person or virtual, but this year. So as Amy said, I am going to try to answer as many questions. If there is a question that comes up as we're going through things, feel free to add it in the chat. We did ask for some questions in advance, so we'll try to go through and answer some of those as well. And then if there's something that you think of after the fact, please don't hesitate to shoot me an email. And if it is something that I'm not sure of, I will get back to you as soon as possible with an answer. So thank you, everybody. And it looks like we have a great response here. So I'm really excited to be seeing people this year. I see quite a few of you that will be joining us in Orlando. So we're very excited about that. Yes, me too, LaQuisha. So, okay, what I'm going to do, and I think Amy's going to share in the chat a link to our AFCPE attendee hub. I know there are some people on here that are considering joining, and I hope this will sway you because it's really fun. It's basically 2 events in one, so it has been a little different for us this year. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to spotlight myself here and then share my screen. So can everybody see the attendee hub here?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so the link is in the chat too here, so feel free to follow along or just go through it later if you'd like. But basically, this I don't believe lives on our website yet, but this link is live for you to go through. And again, we'll be sharing it with all of the attendees as the time goes, as we get a little closer. So as you'll see, there's some side buttons here that will jump you down to the different areas, whether it's information for all attendees, in-person attendees, or virtual attendees. And so as you know, the event or the symposium will be taking place in Orlando from November 16th through the 18th. And the past 2 years when we did our virtual symposium, we actually had a week long of sessions. So this is going to be a little bit more concise as far as the days, but just as much information, if not more, will be taking place since we have the hybrid virtual option as well. So let me just start going through some of the information on this page, and then I will share with you the program, which shows all of the events that we have and ways that you can already start building out your agenda of things that you would like to participate in. So we have created a badge. So those of you that are active on social media, once you're on the site, you'll have an opportunity to download your badge, and you have either I'm experiencing in Orlando or joining from home. So you'll just be able to click on the download the badge. It does open up kind of like a profile picture frame. You can use this template and upload your own picture and then save it and upload it on either, LinkedIn or Facebook or whatever social media platform you use. We do have our keynotes listed here. So we do have that Rita and Olivia are actually in a combo session together. And then we also have one more session. It'll be our opening session that is more along the lines of kind of AFCPE and where we've been and where we're going. So it'll be nice to see a lot of what you can expect or see what has happened in the past and what's coming. Do have a list of exhibitors that will be, all of our exhibitors will only be in person. We will have as part of the virtual mobile app, and let me just clarify one thing here. So whether you're attending in virtually or whether you're attending in person, you will have the same information on either the mobile app or on your computer. So that being said, what I go through, you'll be able to see, like I said, either while you're in Orlando and you want to look something up, you'll have the same information and access to the same information as somebody sitting at their home watching on the computer. So these exhibitors will have their booths in person in Orlando, but they will also have a tab and a page where they'll be able to share resources and information with you, and you'll also be able to reach out to them. So if you have any questions specifically for any of our exhibitors, you will be able to send them a message directly through the app or the virtual platform. I know some of you, as you registered, were asked if you wanted to be a presider or a discussant. We really appreciate that. That really helps us and our speakers. I know the presenters are very appreciate your help with that. So if you did sign up or that you were interested in being one, if you haven't already, you can click on either if you're going to be in person or virtual. And let's say you're going to be in person. Here's a link, and we see lots of familiar names already on here, but kind of gives you a suggestion or kind of what your role is as a presider. If you want to select which session you want to preside over, there's a link here that'll give you, if you click on the link, it will show you a little bit about that session per se. So you can read about the session if that's something you're interested in, and then you can add your name to the list here. There's also in-person presider, in-person discussant. And then there's also the virtual presiders or discussants. So this has all the sessions that will be taking place virtually. And then the other tab was the sessions that will be taking place in person. And so feel free to look through that. And if you didn't register when you registered, if you weren't interested, but you're interested now, let me know. And just read through kind of what the role and what's required of the different roles, and feel free to add your name if that is something you're interested in assisting with. We'd like to get these selected by October so that you have time, October 10th, sorry, so that you do have time to reach out to those speakers and get any questions answered and read their content, their papers, whatnot that might be needed. So I had mentioned the sessions and what you have available, that there's going to be virtual and in-person sessions. So this next link, just so everybody knows, we have presenters that will be presenting just virtually from either their home or wherever. Those sessions will be available to everybody. So you will be able to watch those either while you're in Orlando on your mobile app, or if you have your laptop there, you can also log in, or when you're at home. We have sessions that will be taking place in person. They will be recorded and then uploaded to the platform approximately 48 to 72 hours after the fact. So if you're in person and you have 5 choices of sessions you want to attend and you can't be in more than one place at a time, this year for the first time, in-person attendees will be able to see more than one session. So we'll be recording all of those, and then, like I said, uploading them for an on-demand opportunity to see a presentation after the fact. Also, one of the sessions in person will be live streamed. So if you're sitting in the room in Orlando, you'll be able to watch that session. If you're sitting at home on the virtual on your computer, you'll be able to kind of be an observer in the back of the room watching that presentation. Those will also be recorded and available through the virtual platform after the fact. Keep in mind also, this virtual platform, similar to the past years, the content will be available to you on demand until October of 2023. So you'll have time, afterwards to go back. If you remember, I know a lot of you have done that this year too, looking back still from last year. Oh, I remember this session, and go back and watch it again. So you will have access to those about 48 to 72 hours after the fact, and until October of 2023. I know many of you attending are AFCs or in the process of your candidate. So as in the past, our symposium does give you the availability to earn 15 CEUs. So on that same attendee hub link, you'll be able to read through the information about getting your CEUs. If you are a CFP, we are in the process of finalizing how many of our sessions will have the available or are pre-approved for CFP CEUs. There is a little bit more specific information about how those CFP CEUs are processed. So please make sure you read through those, because unfortunately, we don't have a say on, we can't make any exceptions to that. So please read through this, and we will be able to denote which sessions have been pre-approved for CFP CEUs, but those we won't be doing that yet. You'll be able to search for those after the fact, or I'm sorry, after we release the whole, when you'll be able to go into the program and look. And then if you're a candidate, the experience hours, here, this answers your questions for getting your experience hours as well from the symposium. Summer's on here. Also, are there any questions? I'm just going to stop for a second here about the CEUs or questions that anybody wanted to touch base on. I know there were some questions that came in advance, but I think a lot of that is answered here. And if, go ahead, Zulara, were you?
I think one thing that's important to note that I see on this page is for those of you that are CFPs looking for CE credit, if you submit your survey after November 28th, we will not be able to submit CEUs on your behalf. So if there's anybody in the room or watching at home that is looking to get CE credit, please make sure that, one, you read this, but keep in mind that November 28th is your deadline to submit the survey that will be sent out after Symposium to get CFP CE credit.
And I'm going to jump in here and say there's two surveys. You guys need to be aware of that. There's a survey for AFCPE. That's for counting for AFC credits. And I'm not sure what all they use that for, but there's a lot of really valuable stuff we use that for like improvement and tracking and AFC CUs. But for CFP continuing education, we have a separate survey. We have to do that because CFP asks for a lot of information that is really personal, like part of your social security number, and we do not want to ask that information of everybody. So you'll get a second CFP survey if you're looking for those CEUs, and you absolutely have to complete that. This is because of the timeline they give us. We do not have any control over how long we can give you. We give you as much time as we possibly can to do that survey. Thank you.
Thank you. And if there are any questions, there is an email here that you can reach out to certification about your AFC candidates, or if you're an AFC, the CEU email, and then you can reach out to Summer. Her email's not on here, but I know you know how to find her. It's sred@afcpe.org if you have any questions about that. So this is actually being recorded, so we'll post this on here too, but if anybody missed it, or if there's something maybe we talked about and it didn't, you wanted to come back to it, the recording will be here. So I'm going to jump over real quick to the schedule in a minute, but I did want to just touch base that for in-person attendees, if you haven't already reserved your room, there's a link here. I would suggest reserving it soon. The hotel, if you're coming, so we do have some like our AFC review and AFC test is taking place on Monday and Tuesday, and then we have some attendees that come down a little early, but the Wyndham does not have rooms on that Saturday and Sunday prior. They start on Monday having rooms. So if you are coming down prior to that, and you we do have a separate room block at the Element Hotel, which is not very far from the Wyndham. So you could book a room through this link. We do also know that there's sometimes people that might want to kind of cut costs and looking for a roommate. So if you do have a need or are interested in finding a roommate, please click here. It's a spreadsheet that you can add your name to and connect with somebody. So we do leave that up to you to reach out to somebody, but we thought that would be a nice way if somebody is looking to cut costs. So. And if you aren't already a member, but after Symposium, you will be a member because this is the last year, but membership will be included with your Symposium registration. So everybody that attends, whether it's virtual or in person, will be an AFCPE 2023 member. We do have some very good deals that is through your membership. So there's some deals in Orlando. We don't leave a lot of time during the couple days, but if you have some time before or after Symposium, or you want to do something fun, definitely check out some of these deals. But this is currently available for our 2022 AFCPE members. As I mentioned, there is in person only is pre-symposium option. So if you're arriving in Orlando early and you want to attend a pre-symposium, here are links. If you are registered already and you didn't add it and you're like, you know what, I really would like to attend that, just email me and I'll add it to your registration and then send you an updated invoice to pay for the difference. I know one of the questions on that came in prior to the call today was, are there opportunities to kind of break the ice and network with people? We have found that that's probably one of the favorite parts for a lot of people is our networking opportunities. So we do have a lot of great networking topic chats that will be taking place in person and some will be virtual. So I'll show you the schedule here in a minute, but in person, I believe we'll have 4 sessions going on in person at a time, 4 or 5, look here in a minute. And there'll be a variety of topics. They're basically there's not like a full agenda, it's just kind of a topic where people can just interact. And those are going to be before our opening general session. So that morning, so that way you'll be able to meet some people that you may not have had an opportunity to meet in advance that have a common interest or something that you're interested in, learning more, or talking with them about. So you'll get to meet them Wednesday morning and maybe then be able to hang out or do something, later on during the symposium schedule. And then because of that, we have a lot of networking topic chat opportunities. If you're interested or in leading a discussion and have a great topic that you would like to discuss, please email me. We have quite a few filled already, but we have some open spots as well. So if that's something, you kind of just lead the discussion, you let other people talk. The rooms are available where you could do like small table discussions and then do something after. I mean, it really just depends on what, in what the topic lends itself to. And just important for those attending in person, the COVID-19 reminder, please remember that, we all did have to certify that you're fully vaccinated or that you'll comply with any masking or testing. Things still go back and forth so much, and it's just one of those things that we're unfortunately still dealing with here. Virtual attendee hub, this would probably be good for the know before you go, preparing your tech. Click on here and definitely do some testing. I know sometimes we do have people that are military or government that might have issues with accessing the platform. I believe this is if you're like firewalls and things. So please try to, if you have access or want to share some of these domains with your IT department, these would be helpful in advance to do. Just making sure you have like the most stable high-speed internet connection possible, that your browser's up to date, that you're clearing your cache and things like that. Chrome does give the best user experience. And then also the networking lounges, that will be the virtual networking topic chats. Those will be through our lounges. This gives information on kind of just where you would need to update your IT and for that. Sorry, there we go. And then again, on the networking topic chats, leading those. So long waited, let's go. So this link, if you want to go to the view the schedule, any of those links that are on this attendee hub that say like view schedule or view schedule, you'll be able to get to this. This also lives, the link to this is also on our AFCPE Symposium page. So I'm going to run through this just to show you guys how you can start looking and perusing at the sessions that we have. The great thing about this is this program connects with your account and your virtual platform or mobile app. So you can start looking at the sessions that are going on and adding them to your itinerary. And I'll walk through how to do that here momentarily. But the nice thing is once you have access to the actual virtual platform and the mobile app, this will transfer over. So the things that you're looking through now, and you'll add them to your itinerary and they'll show up. Now, adding them to your itinerary does not save you a spot. It doesn't, make it that like you have to attend a session. It's just more or less what you're interested in attending. We don't ask for people to RSVP for sessions. So it is on a first come, first serve basis, in person and on the virtual end. The in person, someone had asked about how many people are in sessions. It really depends. In person, the topic, how many people we have in attendance. So I really can't give a good answer to that. I mean, we've seen anywhere from 10 people in a smaller session to 100 with standing room only. So it just really depends. But just keep in mind again that the sessions are going to be recorded. So if you walk into a room and it looks really full and there's nowhere to sit, if you want to go to your second choice room and then just plan on finding the recording in a few days afterwards. So on here, you'll see 5 tabs. You have our Monday and Tuesday sessions, which as I mentioned, really is just our AFC review on Monday. We will have our check-in table. So if you do arrive early and want to get your name badge or you have questions or anything, we'll have our on-site check-in available. Tuesday, again, we have a board meeting and AFC exam and certification councils meeting and a board dinner. Some of these events are a special event and they're invite only. So don't be surprised if you don't see these later. They may be hidden only to the people that they specifically pertain to. And so if you are attending the AFC review and you click on this, you'll be able to click and add to my itinerary. So and then you'll know that it's on your itinerary if it gives you the remove from my itinerary. It also shows you what room you're in. And if you click on this, right now it pulls up the whole room layout of the hotel. I've been told that when the mobile app is active, it'll actually pinpoint that specific room so you see where it is. So this is just a little different. It does denote here that this is in person. And so yeah, so that's two. So like I said, Monday and Tuesday, not too much going on unless you are on some specific boards or councils or attending the AFC review and exam. And then so Wednesday does start a lot more activity. So what I wanted to show you is the pre-symposiums are listed here. And again, they show like if it's in person, and then the virtual networking chats, you can see that they're virtual. An easy way to search for, let's say you are a virtual attendee and you want to say, okay, I don't really want to see what's going on in person because I can't go to that right now. I'll be able to see most of those, after the fact. You can go to the search and filter and you go down here to, you can click hybrid, which means that'll be being shown live stream from Orlando. And then if you hold the control button down and also click on virtual and hit submit, it'll pull up everything on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday that meets that filter criteria. So then once we get all of the topics in, these will say which topic these are going to be. But let's say it's the student loan forgiveness program. People want to talk about that. Nobody ever wants to talk about that. If you click on that and you want it, I apparently already have this on my session, but you would be able to add it or remove it to your itinerary. And then again, it's a virtual room and it has the time frame. So as we get a little bit further down here, you'll see this is a hybrid event. So this is our opening general session. And then we also have a virtual poster session and a virtual welcome activity we'll be doing. Dinner is on your own. I know that was one of the questions, what meals are provided. Wednesday night dinner is on your own, whether you're at home, which all meals will be on your own, or if you are in Orlando. The hotel, one of the best things about the hotel that we have is It is a great location, walking distance to so many activities, so many restaurants. So I know we always pack so much in, and that's been some feedback we've received in the past. It's like, we don't have any free time. You give us so much to do. So this does give you an opportunity to go on your own. So we will put some links in once we're not completely done. This is a new platform to us, so there's still a lot that we have to build out, but we will share some links to activities and things close by that you can participate in that would be on your own going to, but we do have those, you know, great close things available. And so, but Thursday night we do have dinner. We do have the rest will be lunches will be provided too. So you will be able to see kind of those meals. And then just so everybody knows, Wednesday night, we have a very exciting documentary screening. So you'll go out to dinner and then come back for movie night and get to see a documentary screening. And then the next morning, we actually have the documentarian that will be there to answer some questions about it and should be fun. So it will be live streamed. And then I believe for a day or two after, the documentarian is giving us a link to attendees that weren't able to attend the live stream to be able to watch the documentary as well. Just to get to because Thursday really starts our breakout session. So I was just going to click on this to show you the virtual. We are going to have a virtual coffee talk in the mornings. I know last year was very exciting. I know Zuliram will be leading those where you can just kind of jump in and pick a topic you might want to talk about or just a general conversation. We'll see, depending on what people might be interested in doing over their coffee. And remember, one thing I did want to tell you right now, mine says times are listed in New York time because I am in Eastern Standard Time, but this should update for your time zone. Very important. So that'll also be on the app and on the mobile app and on your platform. So whatever time zone you are in, but just keep in mind the live sessions will be, you know, I mean, everything that we have planned based on Eastern time, but it will update. So if we have a session starting at 7 in the morning and you're on Pacific time and don't really want to get up and talk to somebody over coffee at 4 in the morning, that's fine. If you can't attend a session at 5 in the morning, these will be recorded. So anyway, once you are in these sessions, if you want to click on one and find out more information about it, you will be able to find the title, the type of presentation. This one's a practitioner's forum, the presentation topic, kind of a little bit about the presentation, some of the learning objectives that you should be able to walk away from the session with, and a little bit about the presenter. And then you can click on the presenter and find out their bio. And sometimes they're presenting in more than one session. So you'll be able to then see also some of the other sessions they might be participating in. I had shown you before about the filters. So when you're in the filter, I'm going to clear this filter and show you maybe. I'm just not being patient. I had mentioned about the topics. So you could, let me see, like estate planning. You can click on estate planning and find sessions that are about estate planning. So this one will be available from 10:20 to 11:10. It is an in-person session. So you can still add it to your itinerary if you wanted, but it would be, if you're a virtual attendee, you would just not be able to access it until the recording comes up a couple of days later. So, and then you can clear the filter. And then as you'll see, so my itinerary now has the sessions that I've been putting on here. Now you might say, oh, I put on more than that. Well, don't forget the tabs are up here for the different days. And then if you want to go back to the full program, you would click on here. We do also have an on-demand library. Some of our speakers are pre-recording their sessions. These on-demand sessions don't necessarily have, they'll be pre-recorded and available. So if you have a specific question about one of these, you'll have an opportunity through the platform and the mobile app to send the presenters a question. So you can still add this to your itinerary because then it'll just tell you that you want to watch that. So if it's something you're interested in, you can still click on that. But so that on-demand library is what's going to be pre-recorded prior to the start of Symposium. Those will be available for you to watch in your free time. And I believe we're planning on opening the Symposium, fingers crossed, the week prior to Symposium. So you can start kind of getting used to the platform, seeing what's on there, and maybe even starting to watch some of those on-demand sessions. Those that said in the poll that they have not registered yet for Symposium, there is a link here. So feel free to, go ahead and register. Our early bird pricing does end on September 30th. So you have a few days to save a few dollars and register before the pricing goes up. I did also put on here a tab for how to create your itinerary. I know we went through that, but because I've already been in here, what didn't prompt me for this click here to access itinerary. The first time when you log back into the program, I think it might ask you to click on here. If you are not an attendee and you haven't already registered, you may not have a profile home or this button up at the top here. This is a public program access link. So if you haven't registered yet, you may not have this profile home button, or if you did register, or if you click on it, I think it'll show you some like an opportunity to go in and start a profile. I did skip over the speakers, but feel free to look through here too. Not everybody has updated everything on here, but as I'd mentioned, I'm trying to find, I think, is Barb still on here? I feel like use Barb as an example. But if you click on you'll see Barb's links to some of the things that she wanted you to be able to click on, like her Money Talk website. And then these are the sessions that she's part of a poster session and a breakout session that's showing up here. And then the other session, I believe, is an on-demand session. So that is, all of this is available through that program. Now, again, once you go through the program, add them to your itinerary. Once you have access to the virtual platform, it will bring over those sessions that you showed some interest in. And you can, if you decide you aren't interested anymore, you can take it off of your itinerary. So I know that's a lot of information. And I see that there's some chats going on. Does where is Amy? Amy, do you want to bring up any questions that may have come up?
Yeah, so I've got a whole list here, so we'll kind of just work through them.
Okay.
One of them that's right here. Do you have to register for live sessions in order to get the recordings?
Do you have to register for live? No. So as long as you are an attendee, whether you're in person or virtual, you will have access to either the pre-recorded on demand that will be available first, and then, or you can, if you're in Orlando and there's a session that's virtual and you would rather listen to that or be part of that, you can use your laptop in Orlando or your mobile app and put some headphones on and watch it from your phone. And then everybody will have access to the recordings after the fact as well. Did that answer the question?
Yes. Okay, so is the virtual symposium worth 15 CEUs, or does it depend on what you attend?
It is also worth 15 CEUs for AFC certified
Okay.
professionals.
Are networking lounge chats also recorded?
No, that's a good question.
Is there an option for attending both partially in person and then also virtually?
I think that might be similar to what I was mentioning. Like if you are a registered attendee for an in-person and there are some sessions that are virtual or taking place virtually, if you're sitting in the lounge somewhere at the hotel in Orlando, you're more than welcome to attend that virtual session, but just know that, those will be available after the fact also. So if you would prefer to attend something in person or do something else, there's definitely opportunities there.
So for that, then if I was to register for in person, but I wanted to go to a virtual coffee chat, would I be able to do that?
Yes.
Okay. Are there any of the sessions that will count for ethics CEUs?
Summer, do you want to chime in there?
There's a pre-symposium session that we for ethics CEUs, otherwise no, sorry.
But we do
And-
have sessions that are, you have other ethics opportunities.
Yes, we don't have them at Symposium in part because we can't track who goes where, so we can't see who's going to which sessions. So we could not actually like award anybody for ethics CEUs, even if we had an ethics webinar or session, but we do have that pre-symposium session that's approved for 2. And NDI will be doing that, and it looks like it's gonna be really interesting, so.
And it's $60 if you register before September 30th. Again, if you're already registered, you'll get prompted if you're registering as an in-person attendee. These are not recorded, they're only available in person. But if you did register already and you want to add that on now, email me and I'll add it on to your registration and send you an updated invoice to pay the difference.
And we will have
Alright.
ethics opportunities this year, so do not worry, or 2023, so have options. Don't be afraid of
Alright.
numbers.
And then we talked about the 15 CEUs for the AFCs attending virtually. How many hours do candidates get for attending?
So if you can, the symposium event is valued at 15 hours, additional symposium content. So you'll want to read through this because I think there's something that's, there's only a certain amount that you can report as far as like related training conference or related webinar. There's different categories. So please go to the attendee hub and read this, and you'll also be able to click on the experience guide for details on how to submit for your experience hours.
Well, from my understanding, candidates that attend Symposium will get 15 experience hours.
Again?
Sorry?
Sorry, it was frozen. I think. Go ahead, Saya.
So for candidates, they will, once they submit the paperwork, they'll get the 15 experience hours for Symposium. But if they want to submit for additional, they'll have to follow the same exact process that they do whenever they're uploading their hours. It won't be like an automatic thing. And the other thing to keep in mind is you also have to figure out how many hours you already have for certain categories, right? Because under the related webinar category, which I believe most of these will fall under, you can only get 10% of your hours. So that's something that you want to make sure that you double check. The best person to contact to answer those questions is certification@afcpe.org so that you can talk with someone on the certification team directly about that.
I just wanted to note too, I put the attendee hub link again in the chat for those of you that might have missed it. And then we've got a couple more questions. Let's see. Will there be a promotional offer for the test preparation course like there was last year?
I was told no, and this is Summer. I think we discussed this yesterday. The question came up.
Is this, okay, this is about, so just to make sure that we are clear and on the same page, when you say the test preparation course, do you mean the webinar review? I know last year we had an exam special where if you purchased your exam in a certain period of time, you had free access to a set of webinar review recordings. If that's the case, no, we are not going to be having that, but we will have an on-site review for anybody who is would like to have basically a 2-day cram session and then test on site. So like more information about that, please reach out to certification@afcpe.org.
All right, and then for those attending virtually, which of the live events will be streamed or recorded? Is it going to be all of them, or will there be select ones and notated on the
Yeah, so
itinerary?
those will be called kind of our hybrid events. Those are the ones that will be live streamed live from Orlando. But if you search by hybrid, you'll see, so that will be for on Wednesday, that'll be our opening, so all general sessions. So that'll be our opening general session. And then the documentary, again, dinner on your own. And then on Thursday, this is, so during each time slot of our breakouts, we have a featured breakout. And so you'll see these featured breakout, those are all hybrid. So they'll be taking place in Orlando, and then we'll have an AV team that's actually recording and live streaming those sessions. Also, just to note, our general sessions and our featured breakouts that will be hybrid or live streamed. Our plan is we do have an ASL interpreter and captioning for those sessions. And then after the fact, our goal is the recorded sessions that are uploaded to be able to watch on demand after the fact will also have captioning available to them. So you'll be able to just scroll back down through here. So anything that says hybrid will be taking place in both in Orlando, but being live streamed to virtual.
All right, how many people are we expecting to attend in person and virtually so far?
It's very difficult to say. Typically, you know, in the past, if I had that crystal ball, I think I'd sleep a little more the the next few weeks. You know, in the past, depending on East Coast, West Coast, we've had 600 to 700 in person. The past 2 years, our virtual attendance has been about 1,200. So we're hoping for still about 600-700 in person and about 400 or 500 virtual. You know, it's really, I wish I had a better answer for that. So I don't
All
know.
right. Are the networking chats that are taking place Wednesday and Thursday in person, are those going to be available to virtual participants?
No. And they won't be recorded either.
And then let's see. When are pre-recorded videos due? And can people record them in Zoom? Barbara's asking.
Barb, yeah, we'll send out an email, Barb, but ideally we have those by the end of October. So we can get them uploaded and then they also once with the way the platform works, the and I just was on a call right before this, just learning, because again, patience is super appreciated right now because we're not only doing our first hybrid event, we're also using full new platform from the call for papers to the registration to the actual virtual platform and mobile app. So it's a huge learning experience for us as well. But what I've been told is that the AI that they use for when you upload a recording, it'll recognize and do the virtual captioning, and then there is an option or opportunity for the speakers or presenters to go in and like just kind of look through the transcript and update. So if it's a name that's misspelled or an industry term or something that's not recognized properly, to make it as accessible for our attendees that are hearing impaired, or just, you know, like to be able to look at captions too. I do that myself. And so ideally by the end of October, so you have time to go in and update all that, but we'll be sending reminders, don't worry.
I
Alright,
want to
and then-
clarify something real quick before we move on to the next question. For the networking chats, those that are taking place, those that are going to be in person are not going to be recorded and available, but there are going to be networking chats that are virtual, correct?
Yeah,
So
they're
folks still have the option to attend virtually the chats that are taking place virtually.
if somebody's in person, but they want to attend a chat that's virtual, yes. Now those are limited in space just because those networking topic chats, the whole point of those is to be a more intimate conversation. So we do have those limited, I believe, at 50 people. Unfortunately, in the past, you know, people have kind of reserved a space for them and then didn't show up. So we're hoping that, I think it's a little different with this platform. I think it's just the first 50 people that you don't have to pre RSVP for those. It's just kind of the first 50 people that jump on the virtual call. And there will be, I think, about 3 or 4 going on. I think 3 of them will be going on. So if you, again, kind of want to filter through these, you can, there's also like networking topic chat virtual that you can do a search for. And like I said, we don't have the topics in here yet, but you'll see there's 3 going on during each time slot. And these are all on Wednesday. Now we also are going to do like lunch and learns. Those will be mostly in person. I think there is one that will be live streamed, and we don't have the we haven't announced the topics on all of those yet either. And I believe that's just for, let me just believe those are listed on the in-person. Oh, maybe not. I have to look. But we do have a few more opportunities for the lunch and learns as well. The other thing I wanted to show you, it's not the prettiest version, but sometimes people do like to print like an itinerary. So I believe if you click on this print, it pulls down a PDF of, the things that were happening on that day that you, or I'm sorry, this is, I think, your itinerary. Yeah. So if somebody, you can like click on your itinerary and print it. If you want to see the things that you've added on. So it's just again, it's not a very pretty version and we can't really update it, but if somebody does want to go through and then print something out so they have some paper when they're on site, just to be able to glance at quickly, it'll show the date, time, the room, and the topic or the title of the session.
All right, Sarah, we do have a couple questions as far as exhibitors go. What does access look like to the virtual attendees as far as exhibitors go? Will they have the opportunity to chat with the exhibitors? Can you kind of dive more into that?
Sure, absolutely. Thanks. Great question. So listed here are the current exhibitors. So as I mentioned, there are actual tables where you can walk up to the table and have an actual conversation with an exhibitor while they're in Orlando. Will only take place in Orlando, but we will have a tab on the mobile app / virtual platform that is an exhibitor hall per se. There's not assigned times where you will meet with the exhibitors. What it does give you opportunity to do is send a chat or a private message to them. You can either find them in the exhibitor hall or look them up by company and send them a private message. And it's nice because the way that the virtual platform / mobile app works, it almost looks like a text message. You can look back at the messaging and see kind of what your conversation looked like with them. We will also in that exhibitor hall, each organization, if they choose to send us like a video, something that they want to share with the virtual audience, we'll have that available kind of in their virtual booth. We'll also have links to resources that they want to include, potentially if there's, I don't know, maybe sometimes a contest or something that they're giving a giveaway. You may be able to, just depends on what that organization is doing. So you'll be able to reach out to them. I mean, not only do you have access to the platform to watch recordings, you will also have access to the symposium attendees to reach out to them throughout the year through this. Obviously, we have our connected communities and different membership engagement platforms that we prefer to use. But if you couldn't remember who somebody was and you wanted to look back at the symposium and remember who you talked to or a conversation you had virtually, you'll be able to do that there.
All right, I think we got through the list of questions that I had. So if anybody has any other questions, we still have a couple minutes. You can drop them in the chat, or you could also unmute and ask the question if you prefer to.
Hey, Sarah.
Oh, hey, Kane, I just saw your message. I was just going to answer it. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I like the idea of the virtual option. I noticed the first year, but is the plan moving forward to have virtual symposiums this point forward?
So, I think one of the great things that since we did 2 virtual in a row, we were able to learn from a lot of people that did hybrid last year. And this is our first hybrid. So I don't want to commit to one response or the other. I do think that whether we offer the full hybrid or just an in-person with recordings available to purchase after the fact, that might be something moving forward. It just really will see kind of the response and how things go from the hybrid virtual option. You know, our goal is really to bring people together, to connect people, engage. You know, that's one of the amazing parts. I think a lot of us sit behind computers all the time, and so we'd really like to bring everybody together, but we understand that it's not a perfect scenario for everyone for multiple reasons. So just to reiterate, it might be that we only have the like everything going on during the week in the location, and then offer recordings of a lot of the sessions to those that attended in person, and then kind of have like a virtual recording option. But it just, you wouldn't have as much opportunity to engage with individuals in the moment.
Exactly.
And you
Thank
mentioned about the virtual run. I think we are doing something similar again. We have some great interns that have joined our team this year that are working on some fun things. The location, we talked about doing a live run, you know, in person, but the location of the symposium, while it's great for getting to a lot of activities and restaurants and walking distance, and it is not great for a run.
Oh, okay.
So, but
Understandable.
I think we'll still do the virtual run walk where you can, you know, take your walks in the morning, send some pictures, and have some, you know, conversations about where you are in the world.
Yeah, I got a call from your co-host. I forgot her name right now, but was asking about that. So
Oh,
it's one thing.
Willa, was it?
Yeah, Willa.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
yeah.
Willa called me. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, well, thank you.
That's all.
I do see the question from Stephanie. Will exhibitors set times on the virtual platform? That would be kind of up to them. And I'm still learning how the exhibitor kind of hall is going to work. There is probably a time where you could, you know, and again, I'm still learning the features too. We have like a social lounge where exhibitors or anybody, to be quite honest, could start a lounge at any certain time. I think they can either pre-schedule it or just go on and be like, hey, who's around? You want to talk about whatever, you know, football or, you know, dogs, cats, whatever your interest level is. People can join you right then. So there would be an opportunity for um, the exhibitors to also start kind of their own little chat session. They could maybe list it also like, hey, I'm going to be available at this time if you want to chat. Great, Krista. Thank you for the feedback. I know it's a learning experience for all of us, and we're super excited to be able to offer this opportunity. And we really, really hope that everybody comes in person, but we definitely understand the value to the virtual option as well. And again, early bird ends. And also, if you haven't ordered your AFCPE swag, come on, guys, we have some great things that are going to be available. We will have contests for sharing photos of you wearing your swag. And that the store is only open until the 30th. So we've had some great great interest level, and a lot of people purchasing things. So don't miss out, because it's only a very short time to get some great t-shirts and polos and button downs and sweatshirts and
I will confess I've actually put in 2 orders now because I
Have
decided I
you?
wanted a second color after I put the first one. So I'm really
Yay.
sorry if I'm clogging things up.
No, I love it. And so the other option is, if you're not, we will have, when you go on the swag store, you will have the option to either have it shipped to you. You do have to pay for the shipping, or we can take it to Symposium and you can pick it up in person in Symposium. Did you? I did too, Lauren. I think I had like 5 items in my cart. So yeah, so definitely please keep us posted if you have any questions. Yep, there you go. Thanks, Amy. That's the link.
Yeah, that's the link for all your swag needs. But I think we got to all the questions, which is awesome.
Great. Well, thank you. And
That
we
was
even
good.
have a couple minutes. I'm happy to stick around too. If anybody doesn't want to be recorded, we'll shut the recording off and post this for later. But I'm happy to stick around for a few more moments if anybody has anything else they'd like to chat about.